creo. I hope you've got your dopamine receptors ready because I will be talking about 3 of Maison Alhambra's newest, I say newest, Tom Ford dupes because these are actually their newest bottles. So here they are. These are 30 ml sizes. I don't know if they also come in the 100 mls, but where I usually buy my fragrances, they had the 30 mls, so here we are. If you guys aren't familiar, they got in a little bit of trouble for the names and the bottles too closely resembling the Tom Ford fragrance, the original Tom Ford fragrances. So they had to step away. They've renamed them. They've changed the bottles a little bit. I mean, it's still pretty obvious to me, and I think it will be to you as well. I have a total of 6 of the new ones. I will have a part 2 to this video that will include the new Smoky Touch and Eternal Touch, which is their leather and tobacco vanille dupes. But I also happened to grab Toscano Leather and Tobacco Touch, which is the previous versions of those scents. My part 2, I will be comparing Eternal Touch to Tobacco Touch just to see if they're different, and then Toscano Leather and Smoky Touch to see if those two are different. Obviously, they're both from Maison Alhambra. This is the newer version, these smaller bottles, and these are the previous versions, but just curious to see if they are any different. And then that video might also have Fusion Intense thrown in there. Now in this video, I'll be talking about 3 of them. So Pink Velvet, which is a dupe of Rose Prick, Pacific Blue, which is a dupe for Neroli Portofino, and Coral Blush, which is of course a dupe for Bitter Peach. All right, I cannot wait to see these bottles in the flesh. So let's open. I'm gonna start with Pink Velvet. Very simple box. Baby! Oh, it's so little. Now, before I go ahead and spray this one, I want to talk about notes in the original and also compare it to the notes in the new Alhambra dupe. In Tom Ford's Rose Prick, you've got top notes of pepper and turmeric. In the middle, you've got 3 different kinds of rose. You've got May rose, Bulgarian rose, and Turkish rose. And in the dry down, you've got patchouli and tonka bean. Now, the retailer where I bought these new 30 ml bottles doesn't actually list the notes, and I can't find them anywhere else online. So I'm going to assume that it is the same exact notes as the previous version of this scent, which was called Rose Petals. In the top, you've got May rose and Bulgarian rose. In the middle, you've got the Turkish rose. It's also got saffron. And in the dry down, it's got patchouli, tonka bean, and vanilla. So slightly different notes here. You don't quite have that spiciness of the pepper, I'm assuming, but you do have saffron. You also don't have vanilla in the original, but in Alhambra's version, they added some vanilla. So very curious to see how these differ. First, I'm going to spray the Tom Ford version. The rose is so beautiful and multi-dimensional in this Tom Ford scent. And I actually love the pepper in here. It's not too overwhelming. It's very aromatic. It's crisp and clear. It's not muddied or cloudy. And the patchouli also isn't too much. The patchouli is actually quite green. It's not giving any dirty or smokiness. It's still quite a bright green, clear patchouli. Okay, you want to know what this version smells like. Let's spray this one and then we will compare. Oh, much sweeter. This is much sweeter, much softer with that vanilla immediately, a much stronger vanilla. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit of spiciness, but it's not as crisp of a spiciness. It's not as green. It's a little warmer. It's a bit softer. It's a bit more of a cozy spiciness. Tom Ford's version is a little brighter, it's greener, it's fresher smelling, whereas the Alhambra's version is much more cozy, it's warm, it's like baked, it's slow cooked. It's just so much softer and sweeter. I would say if Rose Prick were 100% unisex, I would say the Alhambra dupe leans a little bit more feminine. So if you have smelled Rose Prick and you're turned off by maybe how spicy it is, how aromatic it is with that pepper in there, maybe try the Alhambra version. If it's a bit creamier, you've got vanilla, you don't have that really crisp, bright pepper, you've got a softer, warmer, cozier spiciness. I think because of how warm and vanilla-y it is though, I probably wouldn't wear Alhambra's version when it's too warm. I think something like Rose Prick you can wear more year round, but Alhambra's version, I probably wouldn't. Both very beautiful scents, but I think they're a different experience. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're complete one-to-one dupes. They're both beautiful in their own way. It just depends on what you're wanting out of your rose. Do you want something a bit spicier and brighter and greener? Or do you want something softer, cozier, sweeter, more creamy? All right, let's move on. I am very excited to wear this. I very much enjoy this, and it's starting to cool down here in Australia, so this one's gonna be in my rotation, I reckon. All right, so the next one I'm going to compare is Pacific Blue and Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford. Now, this one I'm very excited for because I remember when I first smelled Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford, and I was immediately in love. This was a few months ago. I haven't smelled it since, so I'm excited to see, one, if I still feel the same way about the original, and two, if this lives up to it. Got a bit of schmutz in the back. So this is a clear bottle where the previous one was opaque. So again, still taking a little bit more inspiration from the original. I mean, what have we really changed here, guys? We've changed the color of the lid, and it doesn't have the square label in the front. All right, I mean, I feel like they're still on thin ice, but listen, that's their risk to take, not mine. All right, so again, assuming that these newest bottles are the exact same as the previous ones. So in the original Neroli Portofino, you've got, I mean, there's a lot of notes listed here. You've got citrus in there. You've got bergamot, lemon, mandarin. For your florals, of course, you've got African orange flower, neroli, jasmine. In the base, you've actually got ambrette. You've got angelica. So lots of citrus notes, lots of aromatic herbal notes. You've got that lavender and rosemary. Plenty of white florals, of course, with neroli. Let's spray this one. God, it's so good. I love it. I love the original. It's not a sharp, harsh citrus scent. It's got a little bit of sweetness and that ambrette. I love ambrette. I rave about ambrette all the time, but I love what it does in a scent. It's not necessarily a prominent note, but it gives like a fluffiness. It gives a soft fluffiness that just mellows out a scent. It softens all the sharp edges around a scent. It's doing it beautifully in this one where you've got, some might think a very harsh citrus. You've got plenty of citrusy notes, but they're so soft. They're a little bit sweet, and then those white florals kick in. The neroli, of course, the star of the show. The orange flower. It's beautifully complements, those citrus notes just beautifully complement the white florals. It makes them more crisp, but with that neroli, you've got like a really clean, soapy property, but it's done in the best way. And there's almost like a dirtiness in the florals. There's like a dirtiness from, maybe it's the jasmine, the neroli, it's clean yet dirty. Enough raving about that one. So in Pacific Blue, you've got top notes of neroli, lemon, mandarin orange, jasmine, and bitter orange. In the middle, you've got orange blossom, lavender, and sea salt. And in the base, you've got herbal notes, wormwood, and amber. All right, let's smell Pacific Blue, formerly known as Porto Neroli. Okay, definitely not as strong. The citrus is not as soft. It's similar, but there's that tinge of sharpness in the citrus, and it doesn't quite have that same sweetness. It doesn't have the same depth that Neroli Portofino has. There is like a watery, like an aquatic quality to it, I will say. I feel like the florals in here are a little bit more pungent. They're not as soft and thorough as the ones in the original. It's a bit too linear, I think, for me. It's not my favorite dupe. It's more teetering on that like kind of like a cleaner type of citrus, which I don't know how I feel about this one. It's just a bit sharper. It's got a little bit of a sweetness there, but it's more pungent. It's kind of like hitting at your nose instead of just like gently gracing the nose. And it doesn't quite have that same aromatic quality. I think those other notes in the original give it just so much more depth, and I think that's really lacking in the Alhambra version. I don't know. To me, the Tom Ford version there's much more depth. It's got a softness to it. It's a little bit sweet, but it's just more of a fluffy citrus, where the Alhambra one is more of like a clean, aquatic, maybe more of an edgy citrus. It's more crisp and maybe a teetering on sharp. It just doesn't have quite that same depth. It doesn't have all those aromatic, it doesn't have those herbs, it doesn't give it that body like the Tom Ford one. I still like it, it's just not as good in my mind. Definitely, is it a dupe? I mean, I can smell that it's got similar notes, it's just a simpler take, and I feel like the notes maybe just aren't expressed as nicely to me. It's still decent, but it's not my favorite dupe. I'll just say that. Last but not least, we've got Coral Blush, formerly known as Bright Peach. I love how small these are. I hope it's okay that I'm saying this, but they're so cute. They're just adorable. I love the size. I love the shape. It's just much more travel friendly. We love that. I definitely sprayed perfume in my drink by accident. Don't do that. Don't drink perfume. It doesn't taste good. In the original Bitter Peach, you've got a laundry list of notes here, but you've got peach. Of course, you've got blood orange, heliotrope, cardamom in the top. In the heart, you've got rum, cognac, divana, jasmine. And in the base, you've got lots here. You've got vanilla, tonka bean, patchouli, sandalwood, benzoin, cashmerean, styrax, labdanum, vetiver. Lots of woody, balsamic, and also softening notes in here. This is great. It is truly a bitter peach. It's got just a little bit of bitterness. You can get that sweetness. It's like, it's almost a peach ring. It's almost candy. But then you've got that rum and that cognac in there that keeps it real bitter. I'm not gonna lie though, I don't know if it's the divana in here. It's like a combination of the divana and the peach and the rum and the cognac. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I'm smelling pee. I feel like at first I smelled it smelled great, and now I'm smelling urine. Please tell me I'm not the only one who gets that. I don't know what combination of notes. It's doing something real weird. It's doing something real funky in my nose. I feel like I was about to really love this one. Maybe it's just doing something odd on the paper and I really need to spray it on skin to get the full effect, which that might be. Listen, let me spray it on skin. This is about to be a review of Tom Ford's Bitter Peach right now.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh, I like it even less. No, you know what? I like it even less on skin. Yeah, you know what, guys? This is a scrubber. Okay, Coral Blush, save me right now. Please save me for the love. So in Bright Peach, it boasts a very simple scent story. You've got peach, blood orange, and green leaves in the top. In the heart, you've got patchouli, and in the base, you've got honey and cognac. That honey makes me a little bit nervous. I won't lie to you, but I'll give it a chance. Definitely greener. Alhambra is definitely giving more of like green. That honey's doing something really interesting. It kind of smells like, it's kind of like when you put your face up to a flower and you get all that nectar in there, like all the schmutz that's in a flower. That's kind of what this smells like. It's greener. It's there's still a little bit of a citrus element from that blood orange. It's not as strong. Definitely not as bitter. It's sweeter for sure. I will say for me, it's more tolerable. I don't know if I like this one much either. I will say I don't mind it as much as the Tom Ford version. That is the version. That's the original. It's a very green patchouli. I don't know if I love this one either. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It's I don't like the honey. The combination of the honey and the cognac. I'll spray it on my skin. Oh, I hope I'm not gonna have to shower. No, I don't know. I don't know what they're using for green leaves, but it is bitter. It's a green bitterness that it almost smells like it's decomposing. Do you know what I mean? And the thing about honey is that honey, the smell of honey isn't necessarily sweet. It has its own smell without being super sweet. And I'm always wary of honey notes because I feel like I never loved them. Okay, I will say I don't mind coral blush as much as the Tom Ford version. I'm sorry, I can't even stomach it. It just, for some reason, it just smells like cat pee to me. So I am so sorry if you love Bitter Peach by Tom Ford. I am so sorry. I still hope that this comparison is helpful. It's just, I really can't even smell that one anymore. It's hard for me to stomach at this point. To me, it's just not as bitter. Bright Peach is not as bitter, but there's something weird going on with that honey. It's not my vibe. I don't really like either of these, and I definitely would never wear them myself. Yeah, I don't know. Not a fan of Coral Blush. Not a fan of the original, but also not a fan of Coral Blush. I don't know if Bright Peach smells the same, if they have the same notes. I'm going to assume so. Yeah, just not for me. It's like a gone bad greenness. That's what the Coral Blush smells like to me. It's like greenness gone bad, gone moldy. Yeah, not for me. Listen, love Pink Velvet. Very creamy of a rose. It's a little bit sweeter than the original. It's a warmth, it's more cozy. It's a warm rose sweetness. Really enjoy Pink Velvet. I can definitely see myself wearing that one. Pacific Blue, also don't mind. I will say I don't like it as much as the original. I still don't mind it. I still think it's pretty good. It's just a bit more sharp. It could use some more softening. The citrus is just, it's just a bit too pungent for me. And Coral Blush, I don't know. To be honest, it's a scrubber. I'm actually gonna go wash my body after this. I personally can't stomach the original. This one is like a weird gone bad greenness in here. It might be, if there's still honey in this one, it might be that one that's just doing something so weird and wonky for me. So I don't love this one. I wouldn't personally wear it. I really wanted to like the peach one because I've been fiending for some more good peach scents. Stay tuned for part 2. Those will be up before the end of the month. I will be reviewing these. Thank you so much for watching. Have you managed to get your hands on these new bottles? Do you have the originals of these? What do you think of them? Do you have similar thoughts to me? I'd love to know what you guys think. Please tell me I'm not the only one who has these feelings for the Alhambra version. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad that I didn't like it. All right, cheers, guys.